coming out today. Thank you to the members of the AFT and their families and their supporters and their partners and their friends for making their voice heard for a safer school system, for a safer school district, and for a safer state of Texas. I'm happy to announce that we've had far more than 100, up to 200 cars that are in the parade. Many of those individuals are currently behind us in the voting lines, making sure that their voice is heard not only in this parade, but at the ballot box. So I'd like to get started. We've heard loud and clear from state leaders that it's the economy that they're concerned with. We've been told schools need to open so parents can go back to work. We understand this is a terrible situation for everyone. But rather than work with us to make things as safe as possible for our noble teachers and our staff, our state leaders have undermined their efforts to remain safe. We've been undermined by the likes of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Rather than help, old Dan has chosen to denigrate our teachers for exercising their federal rights to seek accommodations or take leave to be safe. Their president, Donald Trump, has chosen to blame teachers for his failed policies to control the virus and the consequences of those failures on our economy. What you don't hear them talking about is the lack of support and conditions of our schools they are largely responsible for. No other industry in our state is asking their workers to do what our teachers and support staff are being asked to do. Who else is being asked to lock themselves up in a 20 by 30 room with 15 or 20 of their work colleagues while they unmask the heat? Our brave nurses and health professionals are on the front lines dealing with this virus all around them. But they work in buildings with massive air purification systems, have extensive training on handling infectious disease, and receive personal protective equipment and cleaning protocols that our school employees could only dream of. We receive disposable masks and are asked to make them last, and are given vinegar water to substitute for disinfectants. Even restaurant workers. Let's put them on. Can we make sure to go around? I mean, we're going to have to use the tape. All right, you ready? Even restaurant workers, now made less safe by the lifting of occupancy restrictions by Governor Abbott. Ones most didn't ask for, and many haven't implemented, have potential COVID-positive individuals in their workspace for relatively short times, and often in spaces much larger than our classrooms. Classrooms where kids spend close to a full hour unmasked eating breakfast and lunch, potentially spewing aerosolized virus into a confined space where they and their teacher will be for another full 7 hours. Because school districts are forced to comply with guidance standards without the flexibility to meet their individual needs. So we're here today on behalf of educators across the state to challenge Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick to invite 15 of their closest state senator friends for an unmasked lunch in the governor's office every day next week. We challenge them to show this solidarity with many educators forced to do the same with their students. Most of us believe they're scared to do it, which is why so many state offices have remained closed long after they've asked schools to reopen. Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick, if you're scared, say you're scared. It might be the first thing you say we believe without question. At least you would then show you understand how many of our educators feel. But you and I know they won't. That's because they talk a good game about standing up for Texans. But this pandemic has proven one thing for sure. They are all hat and no cattle.
Right.
Yeah.
Texas has the second highest death rate across the country, second only to New York, proving this disease doesn't care about party or politics. It only cares about factors like population density, lack of access to basic health care, and the easiest path from one host to another. Republicans control every statewide office and must fully take responsibility for the consequences of their policy decisions. Policies like refusing to invest in Medicare expansion that has left all of us more vulnerable and susceptible to contracting COVID. The consequences of their lack of vision has resulted in hospitals that are overcrowded and under-resourced due to the overuse of emergency rooms by Texans who lack basic preventative care and the ability to otherwise see a doctor. Governor Abbott himself, last session, in a Republican-controlled legislature, passed a bill to let parents know when a nurse is not on campus, and he vetoed it because he said it was unnecessary. Well, I have a question for our parents out there. Do you think it's important that you know if there's not a school nurse on your campus?
I do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In this time of a pandemic, imagine how much safer we had been had the governor not vetoed that bill. And we're committed to bringing it back up in January. Look around. One of the teachers you see here today are likely to be the next counted on Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor's death beat. It's a horrible thing to consider, but every school employee here is wondering if they will be next. And if so, how will their families cope? Who will keep a roof over the head of their children? You would think the thought of such a travesty would be enough to keep our leaders busy, spending every second working on plans to reduce COVID exposure across the state. But instead, the Lieutenant Governor spends his time with his buddies in the White House and his indicted Attorney General, coming up with schemes to limit the authority of our local health officials to do what they're trained to do, to control the virus and keep communities safe. And that's not all. He spends even more time with his Wall Street buddies, who fund groups like Texans for Lawsuit Reform, trying to make it impossible for teachers or anyone else to hold their employers responsible for poor decisions that could make them sick or result in wrongful death. Decisions that can only be made when they see you as a number rather than a person. Make no mistake, if they can't get their way and block you, if they get their way and block you from having your day in court, then the value of your number they assign to each and every one of you will be far lower than your worth, making it much more cost-effective to put you at risk. Our current policies do not protect Texans. The only way you can protect yourself and your family is to vote them and their friends out of office. That is why hundreds of educators are here today. And that is what we ask of every Texan who cares more about people than politics. Every Texan that cares more about their family than the economic bottom line. Go vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Thank you. I'd like to call up my sister and colleague, Candace Houston, the president of the All-Need AFT.
Shows us how much our
and their needs are being heard. And for that, I want to give all the educators that are here and behind me a round of applause as well. During this time, as President Campo stated, our government has not done enough to protect students and educators and support personnel in Texas schools. And we're here today asking for him to do that. It is not too late. It is not too late for TEA to have some more better mandates, requirements. It looks too different across our state. You go to HISD is one plan. You go to the district I represent, Albany ISD is another plan. You cannot have this across the state. But I want to tell everybody, if you are a parent, a student, any stakeholder, we're asking you now to have a voice with us. Support us during this time. Go to the school board meetings. You have no idea how much you can make a change by letting the board of trustees know. Also, parents, if you're feeling your child unsafe, choose the virtual learning. You can go from face-to-face to virtual learning. I'm here today asking everyone in the community to support educators, support personnel. We need your support. And before I leave, please vote for individuals who are on our side. We have several candidates behind me today that are on our side. From Michelle Palmer to Penny Shaw.
Yeah.
Let's support these individuals.
Yes.
Please, if we want to make change, it starts at the local level.
That's
It
right.
starts at the local level.
Yeah.
I want to thank once again HFT for this wonderful event, for allowing us to join them, our brothers and sisters, in this wonderful event. It's warmed my heart. We need our school districts to put teachers same level as students. We're not behind the students. We should be on the same beside them. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. I'd like to invite up next for a few remarks my next state representative, Katie Morales Shaw.
Thank you, HFT, Houston Federation of Teachers, and that's my message here today. As we struggle to navigate safely through this pandemic, my message is listen to the teachers. Teachers know their school buildings, they know their student needs, and they know their technological limitations. Despite educators' love and dedication for what they do, no one should be forced to give up their career or put their life and their family's life at risk when the system is not adequately prepared to safeguard everyone. Someone recently shared a picture with me of a shelf with a few boxes of masks, a box of gloves, and some hand sanitizer, and said, in lamentation and worry, this is the school safety plan for our schools. As a mom of 4 kids who are now young adults, I sympathize for the working moms and dads who are having to figure out how to work and also to teach their kids. We know that the schools need to reopen. And we understand that. And that's why educators, community leaders, and parents are demanding the attention, the funding, and the support for strong and safe in-school learning. Listen to our teachers. We trust them with our kids. And during this pandemic, we need to trust them with our life. Our final message, or my final message is, no more unfunded mandates. More unconditional support